Hi guys, my name is Kata and we're rolling out looking for top chefs in Ghana and beyond. On today's trip,
we're going to be doing some mustard with honey.
Yes.
Pork.
Yes.
Pork. We're grilling pork. We're going to start with the jollof. I use coconut oil for my cooking, all my cooking, and I use a lot of garlic. And every time people eat my food, they're like, it's really nice, really nice. And it's the garlic.
I haven't tasted any grill so delicious as PaJohn's.
So, looking for a restaurant with experience? Well, I'm not talking about fast food here. I'm talking about gastronomy. There's no other place to be than PaJohn. And on today's episode of Meet the Chef, we'll be hanging out with PaJohn himself.
Our tagline is actually, we don't serve fast food here.
We don't serve fast food. All this and more coming right here on Meet the Chef.
So welcome.
Thank you so much.
PaJohn's.
Thank you, and you're also welcome to Meet the Chef.
Thank you.
All right.
Let me give you some wine.
All right, cool.
Smells nice, doesn't it?
This is actually very nice. All right, like I said, you're welcome to Meet the Chef.
Thank you.
What's the inspiration behind the name PaJohn?
Basically, I like cooking. Okay, so when I moved into this space about 10 years ago, I had a bigger kitchen from where I used to be. And so I started cooking, and I would invite my friends and just sort of feed them in this space, in this environment. Everybody said it felt like a restaurant. And also that my food was nice, and so I should open a restaurant. But I'm not a restaurateur. My background is in PR, public relations, and tour operations. There was one friend of mine who lives in London, and he comes every year. And every year he comes, he'd say, PaJohn, next year by the time I come, you should have your restaurant.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I'm so deep. This restaurant thing. So one time he came, he said, I think the third time he came, he said, PJ, when I come next year and you have, I won't talk to you again. I mean, initially I thought, it was
It was a joke or something.
Not only him, a lot of people kept saying, open a restaurant. So eventually I said, I'm busy, I can't open a restaurant, but what I can do is I will set it up such that when people want to come, they can make a reservation and come. So that's what we do. And it's been quite an interesting journey since.
So how do you combine that with your busy schedule of PR, of
organizing tours?
Organizing tours.
So it is that when you've made the reservation a few days before, if I have some work to do, editing something, or I have to, I can make adjustments and then prepare and welcome you nicely to a session. I mean, a session here is actually called an encounter. Because what I do is it has to be a whole package. You can't just make a reservation and come here and we just give you food.
Yeah.
Because the food here is not...
It's not just fast food. It's not just
absolutely any food. Not. Our tagline is actually, we don't serve fast food here.
We don't serve fast food.
We use slow cookers and things like that. So sometimes the food can cook for maybe 8 hours. We put it on in the morning and cook slowly. And when we do pork, for instance, that way, when you put the knife on the pork, it just goes down without effort.
Yes.
Put it in your mouth and it melts. That's when you have repeat guests.
That's a very good thing. Yeah.
That's a good sign that people actually do like the food. Because sometimes I think they're pulling my leg. You see.
No, well, I will taste it and I will know if they're really pulling your legs or not. But talking about your visitors or the kind of people that come to you, who are your clients? Who are your targeted clients? Can anybody just call you and just come?
Yeah, if you have money.
Oh.
No, really. If you have taste, I mean, I serve really Ghanaian food, but when I say Ghanaian food, I really mean Ghanaian food, like abom, jollof, all those things. But we sort of like try to bring it into the 21st century. You know, you serve it like how it would be served, you know,
in a proper restaurant,
gourmet style,
in a gourmet style,
with what do you call it? All the trappings of a nice
meal.
You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, we try to do that, and I think it's about making food fun also, making food such that when you see it, it's pleasing to the eye before it gets into your mouth and gets into your belly.
All right, so you've described food so much that my mouth is already watering at this point. And can you just give me a tidbit of what we're going to be preparing today?
You know, I was coached into preparing jollof. It's actually one of my signature dishes.
Yeah.
And I have a little twist that I add to my jollof. So we can go to the kitchen and I can start putting things together. And hopefully you're going to enjoy it.
Well guys, you've heard it all, but it's time to take a break. And we'll come back after the break. We'll be heading into the kitchen with PaJohn's. Alright guys, so you're welcome back, and if you're just joining us, this is Meet the Chef and we are hanging with PaJohn. So we're going to be cooking.
We're going to be doing some mustard with honey.
Yes.
Pork.
Yes.
Pork. We're grilling pork with mustard and honey. But what I like to do with my meats generally is I usually clean it with some lemon. You know, wash and clean it nicely with lemon, like I've done this. And then I put in my salt and pepper. So I have some salt here.
Yes.
You know, and just work the salt in the meat. You know, and then pork, especially with us in Ghana, we use papu for pork. So I have some papu that's been grinded here.
So for people who don't understand what papu is, it's just pepper.
Yeah, too bad for them, but it's pepper. So yeah, and then we add the papu, and then of course you add a bit of the mustard.
Okay.
And then you work it in. Now I use a lot of very local indigenous ingredients and spices. So I have some powdered African nuts that I add, and some pepper that I add, you know, to my pork.
Wow.
And you just work it in.
So after putting all the seasoning on it, how long is it going to season for?
You know, it really, for me, usually sometimes I do even, I let it sit in the fridge overnight.
Overnight.
But the African spices are really strong, and it doesn't really matter if you do it even immediately before you. But you know, when you leave it overnight, the spices really seep through.
Yeah, the meat absorbs everything.
And when you cook it, and
you know, it tastes everything.
You know, so we're going to put that in the. I use a halogen oven. It works just as perfectly as a regular oven. So that's why I actually use halogen oven. Okay. And so they all have some mustard and the peppers and everything
on it.
Yeah, and just before it cooks, I will put the honey on it just to glaze it. I put it to a temperature of 200-220, and I give it about 20 minutes.
Okay.
We're going to start with the jollof. I use coconut oil for my cooking, all my cooking, and I use a lot of garlic And every time people eat my food, they're like, it's really nice, really nice. I said, it's the garlic.
Thank you.
So here we go. I'm going to put some coconut oil in this.
So any reason why you use only coconut oil for your cookings?
So a bit of coconut oil. I use coconut oil because coconut oil is very good. Beyond the health use of coconut oil, for me, it's locally made.
Oh yeah,
I use coconut oil that's actually made in Ghana, and it's very important for me to patronize things that are made in Ghana.
Yeah,
so
I was going to ask you that.
All my ingredients are really local stuff. When I try not to use a lot of foreign stuff.
So I want to ask you, is it because of your other business?
It's just my orientation. I feel that we need to grow what is ours. We need to eat what is Ghanaian. We need to wear what is Ghanaian.
Yes.
We need to feel Ghanaian. And making jollof, we can make all our foods and serve them in gourmet style.
In the gourmet style.
And you're still doing fantastic things with what we have.
Wow.
You know, it doesn't always have to be foreign ingredients that you know. So the pepper is hot now.
The oil
is hot now. I'm going to add some
chopped onions.
The brand that I use is actually very good, and it doesn't. They actually take the perfume out, so you don't smell the coconut in it at all. The onion, as you put it in, has to get to a certain point where it's almost as if it's brownish, before you put in the next ingredient. And the next ingredient that I usually put in is the pepper. I'm going to put in the kpako because we like things hot. And when you put it in, and then you mix it all in nicely. And then I'm going to add some ginger, ground ginger. And you leave that to caramelize a bit, for the onions to get a bit more caramelized.
Darker, yeah.
I also make blend onion, and I add it to it. It gives it a bit more body, and it gives it a certain sweet taste that sometimes you're not careful. So this is the onion. What I tend to determine I have to put in the next thing is that when I'm stirring, it feels like the under is burning. Then I put in the next thing. But at this stage, this is what I feel. So I'm going to put in the next stuff. But what I'm going to put in next are the spices. So
what spices are you?
First of all, I'm going to put in some curry powder. A spoon of curry. I'm going to put in some African nuts. That is a teaspoon of African nuts. Some black pepper.
Some black pepper.
Yeah.
I love black pepper.
And some pepper. Okay, so
great. I love the color right now.
Yeah. And once it's like this and it's almost as if it's burning, then I pour in blended tomatoes.
Wow.
There you go. So once you pour in the blended tomatoes, you mix it and you cover it for it to simmer.
So how long is it going to simmer for?
I put in
some salt.
Some salt. Pinch of salt. Now it depends on the size of your pan. Usually this is because of the water in it.
Yeah.
It has to simmer and all the water has to come out.
And has to dry up a little bit, yeah.
It has to dry out. So we're going to leave this on for it to
dry out.
Yeah.
For a bit.
Yeah. Drizzle some honey on the pork. Like that.
So it's gonna be like more like
so
glazed
yeah,
honey?
it'll be glazed on it, and that's going to be yummy.
It looks yummy already.
And then
we'll come back to our sauce.
And at this stage, we'll add the puree, just to give it just to make it thicker and give it some body.
Nice.
Yeah.
Looks thick.
Yep. That's how we want it.
So what you're doing now is trying to mash up the puree.
Yeah.
So at this point, why do we have to wait for it to cook?
Well, usually what happens is when the sauce looks like this,
yeah,
people tend to think that it's cooked and it's ready,
and it's time to pour in the
and
rice.
Then you just pour in the rice. That's not how I do my jollof. You know, what we do is you cook it until it's properly cooked. All the water is dried out. It's
completely
vapor,
dried out. Yeah.
The vapor goes out, and the gravy is properly gravy.
Yeah.
And then I start again the whole jollof process again by actually adding water.
Yeah.
You know, taking a measure of the gravy and a measure of rice, a measure of water, depending on the amount of rice that I'm going to use. So, for instance, if I'm using 1 kilo of rice to make the jollof, I take about half kilo of gravy and half kilo of water. Mix that. So I have a kilo of soluble gravy, and then I add the rice, and then I cook it that way.
So what makes it different? Do you get the difference from the taste of the jollofs?
I think you do, because then the gravy is actually properly cooked.
And the rice has soaked in everything.
Everything very, very nicely, yes.
More like Ghanaian jollof.
Absolutely. It's not like it's going to be soggy.
Yes, or or any kind of way, yes.
Yeah. So our sauce is done now. This is properly cooked. Yeah. Or, we like to think that all the water is evaporated, and so the oil that you started with rises to the top. So
all right, so as the sauce is like this, can we eat it with any other dish?
It's ready. It can be
eaten with any other dish.
Eaten with anything. Very, very ready. So at this stage, we're going to pour in 1 cup of water into a saucepan, and I'm going to measure another cup of the sauce. So that's like 4 ladles. And I add a 5th one, and I add it to there. Now here is where it gets interesting, because what I do is I usually add a bit more salt.
So you seem to have added some salt. Some salt to the sauce when you
started.
Some
more salt, yeah. When you put the rice in, you're adding more ingredients. Okay. You're adding something. So you have to add a bit more salt. And something else that I add to my jollof usually is cumin powder.
Cumin powder.
Yeah. So I add a bit of cumin. So that's about 2 teaspoons of cumin, and I add that to the sauce to give it a nice flavor. And then you leave it to simmer.
So why are you not using the cumin sauce for the sauce?
Well, you can use the cumin in the sauce if you want the sauce to taste like cumin.
Kind of way, yeah.
Because you see, as you can see, the sauce is a bit more than what we've used to do the jollof.
So basically, you can use the sauce for other stuff.
So I can add a bit more curry and make it a curry sauce.
Something, yeah.
Add, I don't know.
Anything to make it something else.
To make it. So when I use it for the jollof, then the jollof has that nice cumin aroma, and it's really special.
I can't wait to taste it.
So what we're going to do is the water and the sauce mixed it's going to boil. And once it's boiled, you add 1 kilo of rice. And once that rice, you mix that rice, make sure that it doesn't stick under the pan. And once that is boiled, you lower the fire.
Yeah,
completely.
and it boils in like low temperature.
Rice really cooks with steam. So
it's steamed at low temperature.
Yeah, so you put it at low temperature, and then the steam will just cook the rice and give it a nice one. So at this stage, the water for the rice is ready.
And I can smell the cumin inside.
Yeah, it's nice bouquet, isn't it?
Nice aroma.
And then we pour in
the rice.
Ooh. A kilo of rice.
And just stir.
And then you stir. Just make sure that it doesn't stick
onto the board. Yeah.
And then you cover it like that until it starts boiling, and then you lower the fire completely, and then you leave it on the low fire until it's done.
Just steams basically. Yeah. All right, so food is ready, but before we taste the food, let's ask PaJohn what we should be expecting.
An amalgamation of tastes.
You heard it, an amalgamation of taste. I can't really wait to dip into this amalgamation of taste. But hey, let's go on a break. We'll be right back and dip into this. So welcome back, guys. This is Meet the Chef, and we've been hanging with PaJohn, and he promised us his meal was going to be a taste of amalgamated what?
Amalgamation of taste.
Amalgamation of taste.
In your mouth.
My mouth is watering.
Okay, so let's eat.
Yes, let's dig in.
This is a jollof.
Yeah.
Ladies first.
The jollof looks nice. This is like a bamboo pot, right? Or something.
There's a bamboo bowl. This is a.
Let's just take a little
This is
bit.
just green with green salad. Yeah. And the pork we made is here.
Hit one pork, and remember the pork is actually mustard and honey glazed. And here we go. Dear Lord, bless this food for us in the name of Jesus. Amen. I'm about to go in. I'm not waiting for anybody. Okay, let's go with the rice. I love it a lot, right? So I'm really enjoying the food, but guys, it's time for us to check out our cocktail of the day by Tapatio. Let's get to him. I'm really enjoying the food right now, and if I have to tell you about the experience of this right now, I will talk till tomorrow, but all I can say right now is there's so many flavors. I can't really explain because there's a little bit of zing and a zang, and like I said, it's just an amalgamation of taste. I can't explain, and it feels good. I love it. But how do you guys see the food, guys? You love it too, right? And you? Oh, I love it. I love it so much. So any final words from you?
Well, I'm glad you enjoy it. Finish it and make me happy.
Of course I'm going to finish it. Because like you can see I'm already enjoying it.
I just enjoyed a delicious plate of PaJohn's jollof and pork. Something to live for. The burst of aroma is just delicious.
Amazing food, amazing food. So amazing. I was told by a friend, and now I will go and testify that this food here is really amazing.
So I think it's time to sign off. Remember, you can follow us on all our social media pages right now on the screen, and we'll be putting out some recipes. If you want, you can try them and tell us how it went. Guys, my name is Kata, and this has been Meet the Chef. Bye!